What's up, YouTube? It's me, the artisanmc, and I'm fresh back from seeing Amsterdam, starring Christian Bale, John David Washington, and Margot Robbie. And, excuse me, this movie was a little bit of a political think piece, right? So I thought about it for a while before I started recording this review. What was the easiest way to describe this movie? And political think piece is about what I came up with. Now, the movie is supposed to be based on a true story, right? So some of it is true, and that means the other part of it is not. And that's what Hollywood is doing a lot recently, just to make political points. And I think that's what happened in this movie, that there was some political commentary that they wanted to give and point out to people. And they wrapped it in a movie that had enough people in it that you would want to see them on the screen and not know anything about what the movie is actually about. So the movie does start off with the characters of Bert, played by Christian Bale, and Howard, played by John David Washington, being friends and getting to know their life in New York in 1933. Now, as kooky as at least Christian Bale's character can be, and as odd as it seems with all this medical stuff going on, it does play on what you know of the real world right now. And these two characters are friends and brothers in some senses because they were in the war together, right? And due to them being in the war together, they form a pact together that they will always look out for each other. Now, it's interesting to see all these different ideas merge together in this movie. And while I'm trying to give you the overview of the beginning, I keep thinking of the end right off the bat. Now, through a turn of events, Christian Bale's character Bert is called to meet his friend Howard at a funeral parlor, basically. It tells him about a job that he has been hired for. He wants his help on it, to do a medical procedure, because Christian Bale's character Bert is a doctor of some unethical means. And his friend Howard has asked him here to perform an autopsy. The autopsy turns out to be on the general that formed them together in the same unit. And the daughter of said general has a sneaking suspicion that her father died of some nefarious means, put it that way, and tries to convince Howard and Bert to find out through an autopsy why her father died suddenly, because nobody else believes it. Now, because this man brought them together and this general was somebody very decent to them in the war, they go ahead and decide to perform the autopsy out of respect for him. And through the course of the autopsy, the story starts expanding and growing bigger when you find out more and more stuff that inevitably tells you the general was poisoned. He was poisoned while he was abroad. And why? And who? And the suspicion is that he saw somebody. He saw something that people were afraid he would talk about. And so he was killed. And now you were off to the races to find out what it was and a whodunit, in a sense, which is kind of interesting in this movie. Because while I thought it was going to be a quirky comedy, there were some funny moments in it, but it was not a comedy. It wasn't a comedy. It was a quirky movie about friendship, freedom, love, politics, how we treat our veterans in this country, the medical establishment, the political establishment, big business, honorable people, dishonorable people, the uber wealthy, the poor and downtrodden, black people, interracial relationships, and once again, freedom from kind of all of that. And that's what's mixed in the movie. And it's really fascinating the way he pulled all this together because some stuff towards the end is actually true. But the names have been changed to protect the innocent. And that's striking to me. Now, if I just tell you that it is a whodunit in kind of a cute Perot sense, that would probably get you on the right track. That'd probably get you on the right track of understanding what you're watching because the name tells you nothing. All you know, there's a lot of good actors in this. But if I tell you that it is a whodunit in a sense, and that the story keeps expanding like a flower and getting bigger, you will understand what's going on and pay attention to the movie as it's going on and not think, okay, this is boring. Where's this shit going? There are good performances by the principal actors and some of the supporting cast, which are known actors. And I think, for the most part, they all did a pretty good job. They did. They were definitely playing characters. They were definitely playing characters. Definitely. I don't think anyone was just not playing themselves. Although in the beginning, I thought it was too much expository information that characters were giving out. They were telling the other characters who they were instead of just interacting with them like they were characters. It would be like me, an example of this would be like me telling you, oh, so you want to tell me about that YouTuber you watch that does movie reviews, the one with the hat and the insignia and stuff like that does YouTuber reviews? And you'd be like, yes, yes. Oh, yeah, I came to tell you that. That's what it was like in the beginning. It stopped after about 20 minutes or so. It did stop. It fell off and it stopped doing that shit. But in the beginning, it was blatant. That was not good acting. That was like, wow, that's terrible fucking writing. Why do you have two people who were supposed to be friends meeting each other for the first time on screen for the audience? And the other character you're just meeting is telling you all the other stuff about the other person. That was sloppy. Sloppy. It was kind of sloppy. But it got away from that later on into the movie after that initial beginning part and got into these characters just interacting with each other. They're not giving you expository information about what they're supposed to be doing and who they were supposed to be and how good they're supposed to be at whatever they were doing. You don't need that. They just become the character and just live the character. That bothered me in the beginning. You know. But later on, when you get the story, there's one time jump Like about 20 minutes in, there's a time jump and you go back to the past to see how these two people met each other, what it was like in the war situation, or how they met their third party. In it being Margot Robbie's character, Val. Right. And then you jump back forward in time to what is going on currently in the moment, which was okay. It was a little jarring for a moment. I said, okay, why the fuck are we back here? But the information was a bit useful for where this movie would go. Um, what else can I say? Because I don't want to spoil it, but I want to give you an understanding of what it is. The political part of this makes me think that this movie was made to. I'll say this, and it's not a reason not to see the movie, but I think it was made to say something about Trump. I really do. At the very least, it was made to say something about corporate elite and politics. Definitely that. And I was not expecting that in this movie at all. And I really want to look into this story of this general a little more, played by Robert De Niro, names changed to protect the innocent, who came out against what I would call corporatism. It's probably not what it is, but corporatism and corporate people, or not corporate people, but old money people in our government supporting what one would call anti dictators at one point and trying to get people on board here to do the same thing in this country. And that's where you get the veterans and the medical establishment and stuff like that mixed all up in, which weaves a pretty interesting basket of shit together, at the very least. At least enough that it's sitting here got me thinking, which would make me want to have someone like a BGS watch this movie because politically they would be able to point the finger on a lot of this stuff. They would be able to just put their finger on like, nope, this was about this. Exactly. But what can I say? What else can I say? Actors. Actors were great. And I think I found what it is about this director, was it David O'Sullivan, why he picked the actors he did to be the principals in this. One of the things I noticed in this, everybody is shot really close up, right? But it's something that they all have in common that binds them together and makes them magnetic to look at on the screen. And it's their eyes. They all have very big, expressive, clear eyes. Like really, really white. And I don't know if they punched up the color or what, but they have really white eyes and very big eyes. And they look. And it's like they don't really blink. You never catch them in the blink. They're just always open. Really big, perfectly symmetrical, round eyes. All of everybody in the movie, even John David Washington. And I think that's why the camera is usually so close on them, so you can see that and catch that in their eyes. Because as shriveled up and derpy as Anya Taylor Joy looks to me now, her eyes were what jump out about her. It makes her look more alien when she's skinny as she is right now. But that's not a body shaming thing. It's just what it is. It makes her look more alien because she's so long and lean with these big eyes. Um, the other one that really stood out was Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie's eyes in this look mesmerizing, almost mesmerizing, because they are so blue and open and wide. It's like you're watching the movie, you can see her eyes catching light and stuff like that from everywhere. It's like, Jesus, you know, they shoot her really well, but you get the same thing from John David Washington, Remy Malik, even Mike Myers with his fake fucking eyes. The eyes are what plays on this specifically, all except Christian Bale's eyes on the character of Bert. Those are kind of fucked up. His move all over the place. But everybody else, they have these really big eyes, and I think that was the casting on these people. I really do. I would be interested to see an interview with this director about what the casting decisions were on this. It was probably people with big eyes. Plus, I would guarantee that you would have to watch it to see what I was talking about. But yeah, I mean, if you think of Remy Malik, what's the thing that sticks out about him the most outside of his funny looking mouth? In Bohemian Rhapsody, and big ass fucking eyes. Same thing with Anya Taylor Joy. Same thing with Margot Robbie. Everybody has big eyes, big clear eyes. So that's a little interesting thing because part of what Valerie's story is in this, and Valerie being the Margot Robbie character, is that she is an artist. And she's a weird artist because she makes art out of metal pulled from soldiers' bodies during war. It takes weird pictures of things. Well, a lot of times having to do with eyes. If it was a horror movie, you'd be freaked out about it, but it's not a horror movie, so it's like it's just weird. A weird artist person. But beyond that, I thought the movie was good. I really did think it was a good movie. Just to keep this short, because we got some other stuff. But I thought it was a good movie. I wasn't expecting the political slant in there, but when it finally started coming in, it was kind of funny. It was. It made me chuckle out loud on some of the parts when they told you in the movie who they were. Like, oh, well, that's big such and such and big so and so. Yeah, okay, that's kind of funny. And getting the meaning of all of this, oh, forced sterilization in clinics and shit like that. Like, wow, they threw a lot in here, a lot. But for what's in there, the story was interesting because it's packaged in a way. I'm sorry. Um, it's packaged in a way that you get into the story, and the rest of that is background. The rest of it is background. So I'd recommend giving it a watch. I don't think you need to pay full price for it, but if you had time, like on a Tuesday or something like that, to pay the matinee price and go check it out, go check it out. It's interesting. It'll make you think about what they're all sliding in there, and you will be a bit entertained watching this story. There's a lot of talking. There is not a lot of action to where people getting beat up or no explosions or anything like that. It's the 1930s, so you're not getting all that shit, right? But if you get into old clothes and people and how things were done at ages before you were ever born, then you'll understand that you go at the pace of what this movie is trying to tell you. It's in a period, and it's probably in a period you didn't live. So you absorb all that and get the context of it and understand what it means for these characters to be in this world existing how they are. What would an interracial relationship look like in the 1930s in America? Why was it okay when it was in Amsterdam? And what it meant for a black soldier who was in love with a white woman in Amsterdam to come back to the U.S. and be on this soil, not even be able to be in a relationship like that. And if you did, what if she was from high society? Gets into that class separation. So it was, like I said, a lot of stuff thrown in there, and it's quirky political, true quirky political, but it was entertaining. So that's it. That is my non-spoiler review of Amsterdam. I think if I do a full review on it, I'll have to go see the movie again. But for now, I like what I saw. I would watch it again and be entertained by it. I would. So, like, share, subscribe, support the stream if you feel so inclined. I have been artisanmc, and I will see you next time. Peace.
You want to tell it to me?
We can't wait, but it's all an illusion.